Well, I was gonna save this conversation around December when Dune 3 came out, or like Avengers, but this is a conversation that I feel like a lot of people are having nowadays, and a conversation that me and my friends have also been having as well. I think this year, 2026, has served us a lot of movies, a lot of good ones, and a lot of bad ones, but some few bangers here. And compared to like prior years, like we've had some good movies in the past, like the past couple of years, like Sinners, Weapons, F1, Demon Slayer, K-pop Demon Hunters. Like those movies are like good. And but I feel like with that, there were a lot of other films last year that no one really knew about. Here for this year, there are a lot of films that people are recognizing, but some of them just don't land. And these are like films that people have been anticipating for. Like outside of like the big movies people are glazing on, like Backrooms, Odyssey, and Obsession, there are movies like Project Hail Mary that people praise upon. The Mario movie, I think that's a hot take. I don't think it was that good. There were other films like, I actually have to go through my AMC A-list because there were so many movies that came out this year. I know Toy Story 5 was glazed. There was also Star Wars movie, Mortal Kombat 2. Like, there are a lot of films that are good. I have enough credibility to say that I can kind of go into the debate of what great movie of the year is. But when it comes to best movie of 2026, I feel like people need to understand what that really means amongst all the movies that can be compared of. Because I just did the math. I watched 29 movies this year, including the Avatar movie, I think. Only 8 of those movies are originals. Everything else is either a sequel, remaster, extended like lore, like Backrooms. That's not really original. It came from a pre-existing lore. Just a lot of these like we've seen done before, or like we've seen like continuation of certain franchises, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying because it's original it's already a good thing. No, when it comes to sequels and remasters and remakes of everything, I feel like a lot of people have also been complaining how tired they are that they don't get original movies anymore. And now with a movie like Obsession that came out, now everyone is saying this is what cinema is, this is what good movies are, having good directors and having good ideas. And while that is something that I can agree with, I don't think originality means much to how good of it is. I think originality gives you a fresh air to breathe in, that it's not, we don't see something done similarly, we see something different, and it encapsulates us. Because I think Obsession has done a really good job in setting the tone from how bad things can get and how worse does it go from here. And I think a movie like Obsession does deserve the flowers and glaze that everyone has been given it. But I think it's important to know that when it comes to best movie of the year, people don't really consider all the other movies that came out that I still think are good. People are just kind of like, tired, we've seen this is a lazy cash grab, and nobody really gives it a chance. And I feel like a movie like Project Hail Mary kind of got swept under the dust. It did get its praise, just not enough as I thought people would give it. Even a movie like Toy Story 5 I thought was pretty good, but I would not contest that for movie of the year. But I just don't think people are giving other films a chance, and people are only watching the big boys that came out. Like, people are only talking about People are only talking about Odyssey, Obsession, and Backrooms. But I wonder, did you guys even watch any of the other films that came out? Because I feel like if you're only watching those 3, it's not really fair to say, this is movie of the year, when you don't have enough of a catalog to grab off on what would be the best. Because it's like, let's say someone has only eaten McDonald's in their life and they've never eaten like Burger King or Wendy's or Five Guys, and they say this is the best burger. You can't really say that when you haven't had other burgers to try. Like, I'm not saying you have to watch every movie that comes out. I didn't. There were movies that I watched and I didn't bother to review. There were other movies that a lot of people have anticipated for, but I didn't really give that a chance. Like Passengers, the horror movie that came out, or Hokum. Like, those movies people, I think, were like glazing for because I think the horror genre has been making a spotlight this year. It has been going nuts. Not just Obsession. There's another movie that I'm looking forward to, Other Mommy. That was a horror movie that was premiered, or like the trailer for it before the Odyssey, and it looks pretty promising. But anyways, I just don't think, if you haven't watched at least maybe 5 or 7 films, I actually maybe minimum 10 of this year, it wouldn't be really fair to say that these movies win movie of the year. But anyways, enough of yapping about like that prerequisite yap that I need to give out. The question everyone is wondering is, what is best movie of the year so far? As of now, I think it's pretty difficult, but I will. I know, but everyone's been glazing in. I really do think Obsession is movie of the year so far. Yes, I understand that The Odyssey is great. I will say this: The Odyssey is better for its visual, for being a cinematic spectacle. Like, every scene that is shown in The Odyssey, you can put that thing as your wallpaper. It would be really concerning if you wanted certain scenes in Obsession to be your wallpaper. I would hope not. But The Odyssey, it makes you go, wow. And I think that is elevated more by the IMAX and like just the cinematography that Nolan really does prioritize. But I think with a movie like that, packed with a bunch of A-lister actors, not a lot of them get to show their acting chops. Like, only Matt Damon, even he himself, the main star, doesn't really get to show that. Like, I feel like the only character that really stands out for me was probably Robert Pattinson as Antinous. I butchered his name when I reviewed The Odyssey. Forgive me for that. I can now say his name properly, Antinous. So it's just like a movie like that with a bunch of like popular actors. Many of them are just to bring seats to the table, but for acting, it's only him and maybe Anne Hathaway as Penelope that stand out for me. Everyone else is just kind of like, oh, this is nice. I like seeing you in the film, but you don't get to really show off your skills. But other than that, I think The Odyssey does really great in all the other things that it wants to give out. But Obsession, everything works out. The visuals, the cinematography, the freaking acting by Indy Navarrete. I hope I'm not saying her name wrong. I just think she gave a phenomenal performance and something to remember, even though this movie has been memed a lot, like with the whole like uncanny makeup look where people have been like pricking their boyfriends. But I think a movie like Obsession took a simple concept of what the idea of love is and how far people are willing to grasp onto it, even though things get a little toxic or more than toxic. Are people willing to stay because that's what they can settle for? And I think that is such an interesting like thing to kind of wrestle with, because a movie like Obsession has been phenomenal when a lot of people have been wondering and have been debating with each other, would you do this for love? Would you, if you had a One Wish Willow, and let's say minus all the creepy crazy stuff that Nikki did, let's say it was a normal loving relationship, would you make the wish? And I think that movie has gotten into a lot of people's heads, and it has made them make some not theories, but people have been analyzing, over analyzing the film on, this scene really represented this, and Bear's name represented that, and yada yada. And while some of them might have been a bit over the top, it is a movie that's really touched everyone's heart and really made everyone just feel whoa. Like, it is a very disturbing film, but it's like it's just good. I don't know any words to describe it. I feel like if you are someone who doesn't like horror, because I'm gonna say this right now, I hate horror films. I get easily jump scared by everything. I don't get excited for a horror film. I only watch it just because I feel like I want to be a fair reviewer of movies. Kids movies are the exception. I just can't, because kids are going in there, they ruin the experience for me. And there's nothing appealing about a kids movie to me. I'm a 21-year-old unk. I'm not gonna like it. But anyways, I think Obsession is movie of the year so far. Odyssey is, debatable. If you said Odyssey was better than Obsession, I don't blame you. I think Odyssey was great. I think the Odyssey, however, for me is probably number 2. I'll go into a further tier list on what is number 1, number 2, number 3. I'll make a video by the end of the year for that. But I think this is such an interesting conversation that a lot of people have been having on, what movie is the best. But I feel like when it comes to best movie of the year, what other movies are you comparing with? Or are you just only comparing the mega blockbusters that came out? Because I feel like that's not only difficult, but it's also not fair to say when you don't really give other films a chance. Anyways, that's enough yapping. I will now see you guys in another video. Peace.